Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. We always end up going back to that same statement, that same quote, the most transparent in American history. Remember when Jen Psaki told us that? Remember when Joe Biden and his team promised that they would be the most transparent in American history? Well, that was certainly never going to happen, especially since they're competing against Donald Trump, who certainly was the most transparent president of my lifetime. And I mean, it's not even close, but clearly that statement didn't age very well. They told us that they would be honest, that they would be transparent, that they would keep the American public informed. And ever since, it's been 2 years of nothing but propaganda, lies, misrepresenting facts, and misleading the American public at every single turn. And here we are with Joe Biden's most recent scandal, GarageGate, I think is what people are calling it, where that lack of transparency, and not just the lack of transparency, the overt dishonesty, is being exposed. This video is kind of a continuation from the one that I posted yesterday, where we're just going to cover basic Democrat dishonesty. I mean, this is what they do. They tell you one thing, they do another. They mislead, they lie about everything. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, it seems as though we're not the only ones who remember Joe Biden's promises of transparency. The left-wing legacy media remembers as well, at least certain outlets.
But they clearly had a problem this week with this, especially because you have a president who made campaign and day one promises of transparency, and they weren't kept here for whatever reason. Lots of questions still to come.
As we come on the air this morning, there are new details emerging about those classified documents found at President Biden's private office and at his residence. For the fourth time, the White House is revealing new details. At first, it was documents found in a locked closet at an office Biden used after he was vice president. Then we learned of documents in the garage at his home in Wilmington. Then a document in another location near the garage. And now, just yesterday, the White House said 5 more documents had been found at President Biden's home. The White House says it is committed to transparency, but the first batch of documents was discovered on November 2nd, just days before the midterm elections, and the public didn't learn of it until this week. And only after reporters started asking questions.
It's a problem, especially because you have a president who made a campaign and day one promise of transparency. Well, let me show you guys just how transparent Joe Biden and his spokespeople really are. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre on 6 different occasions claiming that the search for classified documents was complete.
The search is clearly complete. They completed the search. The search is complete. He is confident in this process. You should assume that it's been completed, yes. After the search concluded last night, that search was completed last night.
Constantly reassuring the American people that it's over. You should not expect any more documents. We have done a thorough search and review and we've found them all. And ever since then, well, we just keep finding more documents stashed away. Everything these people say is a lie. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating, maybe not everything, but it really feels like almost everything they say is a friggin' lie. It's non-stop. It goes from their campaign promises, not just the promise to be transparent, but I mean things that they promise in their legislative agenda and then don't deliver on, and then any issue that seems to arise, any problem that this Democrat administration has to tackle, instead of tackling it honestly, they just lie. There's a crisis at the border, a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. It's an undeniable fact. Yet this administration will look you straight in the eyes and tell you there's no crisis. You know, kind of like stuff like that. Joe Biden is now illegally in possession of classified information, and they just keep lying about it. They lie as they promote this claim that Joe Biden takes classified information very seriously. We know he doesn't. He just leaves it laying around in his damn garage. They condemned Donald Trump as being irresponsible, as being a criminal neglect of classified information, America's top secrets, endangering Americans' national security. All the while, they knew that Joe Biden was in possession of these documents. They knew before November, but they just keep on lying, repeating the same damn lines over and over again. Actually speaking, here's a perfect example showing you just how dishonest these Biden Democrats are.
Do you think the White House knew about this back in November, even before the midterms? Do you think that they should have told us about this earlier?
I'm glad to see that the president and his administration are cooperating, and they should continue to cooperate. Nobody's above the law, and we need to get to the bottom of this so that we don't see this kind of thing happen again.
But should they have told us about it in November? I mean, there's some Republicans are alleging cover-up. Even some Democrats have expressed some concern.
Well, look, the Justice Department is engaged in the investigation, and that's one of the questions that I think they will explore, and I don't want to get in front of that investigation.
The White House knew about the classified documents back in November, even before the midterms. Do you think that they should have told us about this? And then this friggin' Democrat robot just repeats the same line over and over again. These people are not honest. They are not transparent. Here's another example with another top-ranking Democrat, Jamie Raskin.
Now we've learned they found more documents than previously disclosed in a third location. It's hard to argue that the administration's been transparent and told the American people about this as soon as they could have.
Well, of course, I mean, it was a very rapid clip at which we learned about it compared to the Trump case where he fought it for nearly a year or perhaps over a year. And the government investigators had to go to court in order to get a subpoena to go to Mar-a-Lago to get dozens of boxes of classified material and government documents that were being held down there. So, look, I don't know yet, and I'm hoping our investigations will reveal what you're supposed to do if one of these documents surfaces.
When challenged on the same issue of transparency, Jamie Raskin literally responds, "Look, I don't know what you're supposed to do if one of these documents surface." You don't know what you're supposed to do if one of these documents surface. If you're the president and previous vice president of the United States and you've condemned the former president of being so incredibly irresponsible for holding classified information, which of course he declassified, if you set that standard yourself with your little media tour before the election, if you are setting the standard that it is wrong, and of course that standard would imply that you, being the former vice president, have absolutely no excuse, no reason to be holding classified documents whatsoever, well then an honest person, somebody doing the right thing, what they would do is immediately inform federal agencies that are involved, the National Records Administration, and get it back in their possession. I mean, that's the standard he set, but Jamie Raskin claims, well, we wouldn't know what to do. Oh no, what would I do? Whoa. Playing dumb, playing stupid, and most importantly, like I always mention, treating you as if you're stupid, as if that's an acceptable response to that question. Again, it's the same damn question that surfaces every single time. Do I look stupid to you, little Jamie Raskin? This guy is such a snake, it's unbelievable. He also said this during that same interview.
Now we learned that President Biden had roughly 20 classified documents, including some marked top secret in 3 different locations, by Biden's own standard. Wasn't Biden totally irresponsible with classified information? And aren't we right to wonder, to use Biden's words, quote, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods?
Well, and I think we'll get to the bottom of all of that. I mean, that's why special counsel has been appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland. He did the right thing there to look into it. I'm hoping that we will keep a sense of symmetry about our analysis of these situations and a sense of proportion about the underlying offenses. There's some people who are trying to compare having a government document that should no longer be in your possession to inciting a violent insurrection against the government of the United States. And those are obviously completely different things. That's apples and oranges. So we should keep a sense of proportion and measure about what we're talking about.
Immediate pivot to violent insurrection. These are not honest people. They're playing a game. It's the same dishonest faces surfacing and pushing straight copium, straight lies. Here's former Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff playing his part.
Should they have been more forthcoming? Should this information have been revealed earlier?
I think the administration will need to answer that question. I'm going to reserve judgment until they do. But I think it's important to point out that the Biden approach was very different in the sense that it looks, as far as we can tell, that it was inadvertent that these documents were in these locations.
And this one honestly might be the most shocking. Well, it's the least shocking because it's exactly what you'd expect from this dishonest loser, but it's definitely the most shocking in the sense that Adam Schiff is supposedly an intelligence guy. He's the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. He's supposed to understand better than anyone how important the secrecy of these documents is to national security in many cases. And yet here he is, giving some copium excuse for the current president, essentially excusing his crimes, claiming that it was probably inadvertent. Does that make it better? Now, I don't believe for a second that it was inadvertent. You don't just inadvertently steal classified documents, state secrets, and casually just leave them laying around at different locations. You don't just inadvertently do that, but even if that was the case, if anything, that would be even more irresponsible. It would be obviously less criminal, but more irresponsible, incompetent. It's not exactly the defense that Democrats think it is, now is it? But anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Just a compilation of all the Democrat copium, the Democrat lies, these dishonest Democrats being dishonest Democrats. It's nothing new, although it's been particularly frustrating. The last week, they're all crawling out from under their rocks, surfacing in their little media tours, and frankly, they're making my brain hurt. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.